In this video, we're going to take a look at the teacher experience using the TypingClub School Edition. I'm going to get started by taking a look at the Classes section. Here I can view a list of all of my classes in the account. When I click on one of the classes, I can look for settings near the top right corner. Here I can adjust all of the settings for this particular class. First is deciding what day of the week will start on. This is important for viewing various reports within the account. Next is the minimum stars required to pass a lesson. The default is 1 star. In order to earn 1 star, the student must meet the minimum speed and accuracy requirement for the lesson. Next are the daily and weekly practice goals. You can set these in either minutes or hours. The students will be able to view the goals that you have set for them, and they'll be able to view their progress on completing these goals. Next is scoreboard visibility. Students can either view each other's scores, scores are kept private to each student, or students can only view the top scores in a leaderboard. If you select the leaderboard, then you can decide how many students will be shown in the leaderboard. Next is backspace behavior. It can either default to the lesson plan behavior or disable backspace for all lessons. Next is allowing students to jump ahead. If this box is unchecked, then students will have to do every lesson in order before they're able to move on to the next. Now you'll be able to decide if you want to lock certain features on your student's dashboard. First is locking the virtual keyboard. If you check this box, you'll get to decide if the virtual keyboard is always shown or hidden from your students. If you uncheck this box, then you're giving the students the option to decide for themselves. Next is locking the keyboard language and layout. You can select the layout and language for the keyboard for all of the students in your class. If you check this box, you'd want to make sure that they're all using the same layout and language of their physical keyboards. Next is locking virtual hands. Similar to virtual keyboard, you can decide if it's always shown or always hidden. You can also decide if you want it to show both hands, or left hand only, or right hand only. You can also decide on the keyboard sound. You could choose to lock it so it's always on or off. And the voiceover. You could lock it so it's disabled, it reads out words, spells out each letter, or full instruction per letter. Lastly is lock block on error. You can lock it so it does not block, blocks on first, block on second, or block on third. If you block on first, the student will be able to make 1 error before they're forced to go back and correct the error before they can move on to the next letter. With block on second, they can make 2 errors, and block on third, they can make 3. Lastly, you can decide if you want to prevent your students from changing themes, fonts, or using the replay button. By default, students are able to change their background theme or font, but if you check this box, it will prevent them from doing so. You could also check the box to prevent students from using the replay button within the lesson. Once you're complete, click Update Settings. You can also click Edit Class near the top right corner. Here you can change the class name, the optional class ID, the optional description, and the grade for the class. Next, we'll take a look at how to assign lesson plans to the class. To do so, click on Assignments. Here you can view a list of all of the lesson plans that are currently assigned to your class. If you would like to unassign a lesson plan from the class, you can click the X in the top right corner. To assign additional lesson plans, click Assign Lesson Plan. First, you'll see all of the lesson plans that have been created by you or your fellow teachers in the account. And if you scroll down, you'll view the Ed Club managed lesson plans. You can select as many lesson plans as you would like, and then click Assign Lesson Plans. Now we'll talk about how to adjust the difficulty of a lesson plan for the entire class. To do so, you would locate the lesson plan that you want to adjust. and then look for where it says difficulty speed or difficulty minimum accuracy. Then click where it says normal, and here you can increase or decrease the speed and set the minimum required accuracy. By default, the minimum required accuracy is 80%, but you could choose to change this. You can also increase or decrease the speed. The speed requirements vary in TypingClub lesson plans. For example, in Typing Jungle, the minimum speed starts at 3 words per minute, but by the time students reach the end of the lesson plan, it's increased all the way to 50 words per minute. Because of this variance, you're able to just increase or decrease the speed by a set number. If you'd like to decrease the speed, you would put a minus sign in front. Now the speed requirement for all lessons in this lesson plan will decrease by 3 words per minute. Once you're done, click Update Options. And if I scroll down, I can see that it has now been adjusted. Next, we'll look at where you can view the reports for the class. You would click Reports. You would see a list of each report that is available with a brief summary under each, so you can find the one that best suits your needs. Now we'll take a look at the lesson plan section. Here you can view all of the lesson plans that have been added by you or your fellow teachers. And if you scroll down, you can view all of the Ed Club managed lesson plans. You can also assign a lesson plan to your class from this tab right here. To do so, click on the name of the lesson plan and then click Assign to Class. Select the classes you would like to assign the lesson plan to and click Assign to Class. You also have the option to create your own lesson plan. To do so, click Create a new lesson plan in the top right corner. You'll select the name, write an optional description, choose the language, and select the grade or the grade range. Then click Create Lesson Plan. You can see it is created here. To add lessons to the lesson plan, you would click on it, and then click View or Edit Lessons. To add your first lesson, you would click on the plus sign. You would then select a lesson type. There are a variety of lesson types including games, spelling, and different typing experiences. Since this is the first lesson, I'm going to select Practice Individual Characters. I can select the name for the lesson, enter my lesson text, then I can choose the lesson objectives. Do I want the students to simply complete the lesson or meet performance goals? You can decide if you want to disable backspace on this lesson, block students on error, does the lesson include meaningful words, and is the lesson a placement test? Since I selected that I want my students to meet performance goals, I get to choose what those performance goals are. I'm going to decrease the goal speed to 10 words per minute, keep the minimum speed at 3 words per minute. I'll keep the minimum accuracy at 80%, change the score to 500, and keep the time limit at 10 minutes. If you'd like to add instructions, you can do so here. And then once you're done, you can click Save or Save and add another. To get back, click on the arrow in the top left corner and then click the drop down. Lastly, we'll go over how to adjust difficulty for an individual student. To do so, you would click on Students, click on the student's name, and then click Progress. Here you can view all of the lesson plans that the student has been assigned. Look for difficulty words per minute or difficulty minimum accuracy in the lesson plan that you would like to adjust. Here we can see that this student's has already been adjusted. If I want to adjust it further, I would click on it and then make any adjustments to the speed or the accuracy. But this time it'll only be affecting this individual student, not the entire class.